You fellows saw fit today to honor George, and Ron, the fellow that won all the money today, now would like to say a few words. Ron?
I would like to welcome you all to the new Old Guard George Klein annual picnic. I have been asked to say a few words about George and spent the whole night writing a speech that would be spellbinding, exciting, and a true description of this savant. But instead, I wanted to just say, thank God George is alive and well, and that he is here to celebrate this day with us. Hey. Thank you.
We have a member here today that is the third longest member that's alive, and that's George. And he's 25 years, George Klein. There's only two members that we have that are older, and neither are present at the meetings. And one is Lou Gadet, and he's been a member 31 years, and Bill Gra is 26 years. And believe it or not, I'm 20 years. So, thank you, gentlemen.
Anybody who knows George knows that he is a perfect gentleman. As a matter of fact, most of you, unless he gets up and tells us some jokes, you don't even know he's there. Was that in there or me? Okay. George, as I said, is a perfect gentleman. But the main thing about George, he is one of our best chaplains. He is, he's got soul. When he comes to one of our, I hope we don't have to use it again, but he has a certain amount of humility and always sincerity, and usually he makes the old guard look good. He makes us all look good. And of course, he's our best joke teller. He outdid me. He outdoes me. So I want to say it's been a pleasure knowing him, a gentleman and scholar and our chaplain.
Thank you, Bill. And the past president, Tony Puglisi, would like to say a few words. Tony?
There's a lot of scuttlebutt about George's age. I want to clarify that. He played with Moses. Believe me. Talking about playing, George and I and Jack Beverly, if anybody remembers him, we tried to put together a skit. Do you remember that, George? And we had one hell of fun, a lot of fun putting that together. George and I were supposed to be two bums living in a cardboard box. Do you remember that? And the Jack Beverly was supposed to be the narrator. And his vocabulary was so extent that it put the two bums to shame. So it just didn't work out the way we wanted to. But the idea that George and I put this thing together indicated that George is a true actor by nature. So when he tells a joke, he's acting too. Okay? The other thing that I wanted to mention too, every time we go someplace, everybody says, "Hi, George. Hi, George. We went to Italy." "Buongiorno, George." My God, every place we went. As a matter of fact, the Pope was going to put up a speech, and there was George next to the Pope. And there was two nuns behind me. And one nun says to me, says to the other nun, she says, "Who is that?" I said, "You don't know George?" They said, "Oh, we know George, but who's the guy with the little red beanie?"
Thank you, Tony. Thank you. As mentioned previously, George was a founding member of the AARP. Without him, it wouldn't have been started. Now they have well over 150 members. They have 125 that show up to our meetings once a month. George has been an outstanding member of our group for 25 years.
True, I am.
And as stated, a great chaplain and a good storyteller. And here's some, I know Emil Frieda did a laminated copy of the Westchester Tribune article that was in here. Here's a copy of the Patch article and some other things we'd like to give you. Would you like to say a few words?
You know, it's like a wake. Everyone says nice things about you.
Use it, George.
Not too close. Right there. Right there.
And it's been a pleasure all these years. I used to sit up there, and I had awfully nice companions. And unfortunately, they passed away. And I remember one Southern gentleman. He was a partner in the Esso station on Hillside Avenue in Northfield, and he and Bernie. And he sold out to Bernie's son. And he was just a delightful conversationalist. He was a Southern gentleman, and he passed away too. But we've had some marvelous members, and the thing I like about Old Guard is the lack of snobbery. Now, a couple of presidents ago, we had a Harvard graduate. Last year, we had a medical doctor as president. We've had presidents of all vocations. And out there's a wealth of talent. There's a chemical engineer, Frank, a mechanical engineer, a radiologist here. And there's people with all kinds of education. And I know I'm only a high school graduate, and there's no snobbery. And that's what I like about the Old Guard. We have a fraternal feeling for each other. And it's such a pleasure to be here. And over the years, we've had such marvelous speakers. And I remember my favorite was a lawyer from Israel. He had a relative here in Livingston. And he used to come every year. He was a speaker like, remember Bishop Sheen? You hung on to every word. And he told about the situation in Israel, the politics, the legal system, and then he had his comments about life in America. And he absolutely loved the Old Guard. And that's why I love to come here, because it's give and take. It's you don't sit on your hands. When we have a speaker here, you ask very intelligent questions, and the speakers are always impressed about coming to Old Guard. So I belong to many organizations, but this is my favorite, all-around organization. You know, what other organization has devotions to start a meeting, even though we're all of religious differences and backgrounds? And speaking of chaplains, we had a chaplain here called Monty Kalman. He could outdo any minister I ever knew. And when we had a member that passed away, Monty used to go to that family and talk to them with consolation. And then he would write a prepared eulogy. And sometimes it was 3 pages, but it was a wonderful eulogy. And I know I don't do half as well as Monty did. So over the years, and we've talked about presidents. One time we had a college professor, and his clothes, nothing matched, even his socks. And unfortunately, he was only president a short time. He fell on the ice, hit his head, and he passed away. But his widow still comes to our holiday party. And that's another thing, how good we are at our holiday party to invite all the widows of our past members, our past brothers. And it's such a nice thing. And our parties are so nice. Our Valentine's Day party, when we bring our ladies and we all dress up. And it's such a nice thing. There's not many organizations that all around are as good as we are. So I thank you. I thank you for the privilege of being an Old Guard member. So thank you a lot.